Yeah. Hey, this is Brian from Logic Pro Hacks. How's it going? I have a very special treat today. I decided to go ahead and do something a little bit different, and that is sign up with Patreon. And with Patreon, I had the ability to pretty much give away stuff for almost free, really. A couple bucks a month, and you get tons of templates and resources and anything you can think of. And I'll throw the links on through Patreon. As I practice my craft and I try to get better at what I do, one of the things that I've been studying is how do I make the perfect drum mix, especially like the metal drum mix. I've always been fascinated with how do you get those loud snare sounds, those loud kick sounds, and a track that with just a normal stereo field. And so I ran across this one YouTuber. He goes by the name Death Culture Metal Production. You can look him up. And he's really cool. And he even has a Patreon account. Matter of fact, I'll just bring up the page here. And so he does this tutorial and he uses this text-to-speech kind of thing. It's kind of hard to understand. And plus he's using Cubase version 5. So I decided to just go through his tutorials and just see what I could come up with. And I have to say, I'm really impressed with the end result. And I have to say, forewarn you, it took me about probably a good week just messing around in Logic and with the plugins I was using just to get it to where I was able to match it the way that he had it. I actually made stems of these drums and I'm going to upload on my Patreon account. So if you just sign up my Patreon account, you'll be able to get the stems to all these drums. There's 21 stems, and you get kick group, kick in, kick out, all the different ones that, granted, I just have one master MIDI that's going through all these different tracks. Let's open it up here and I'll show you. You got the master bus, all these drums. I'm using Superior Drummer. Go open it up. It's a custom setting. This guy actually, when you sign up for his Patreon account, he gives you all the different settings to do this. So first sign up for his Patreon account. I'll link it in there, and then sign up for mine, and I'll link in all my stuff I'll even throw in the Logic project that I built this in. So that way you could still have this whole Logic project made, and it'll be on my Patreon account. Really, this is probably about 2 weeks worth of work here that I've been doing just to get it. So if you have all these things, you can definitely follow along. I'll also include the stems and the MIDI file that I used. He used a different MIDI file. I actually ad-libbed and created my own MIDI file and, just kind of had fun and played with it. So it's Superior Drummer. The project will be there. The stems will be there. The MIDI file will be there. Everything. You'll notice that using Waves NSL for pretty much everything. This guy is the bad boy. This is what really brings it home. NLS channel bus for all the tracks. And then we're going to use this other one called an NLS bus for the main group for all the drums. And then you'll notice, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 different EQs on one track, because you'll EQ it and then EQ it again, add something, EQ it again, add something, EQ it again. And this goes on and on for every single drum track. I mean, the level of detail is absolutely profound. You got running SSL, HComp, just going all out, total annihilation. And you're running multiple EQs on every single channel, basically roll out resonant frequencies, different types of compression to get in that nice saturation sound. And then also you'll notice that I have these tape delay settings. These tape delay settings is actually a little trick that you could do. You can see here, everything else, you just zero out everything. You're asking, well, why are you doing that? What it is there's the thing called plug-in delay compensation. What you could do is you can measure between this one and another one, and if it's out of phase, you can measure that and you can compensate it by adding a little tape delay here, making sure all this is zero and output's full wet, and just put a little delay on there, and it helps. Chamber reverb, I have it set really low, and then I have all the groups going to the reverbs, and they're set at pre-fader. And then I control the reverbs through here. You could do it differently if you wanted to. Look here, you got noise gate. Now look, this is kind of cool. What this does is basically controls where you cut out all the background noise and you're just getting in the kick and the snare that's coming in. Put the reverb on that. And then this is just another room in there, and that doesn't really have that. But this one is using a directional. It's kind of slightly off to the left, and that helps too. What I eventually plan on doing is I'm going to figure out a way to get rid of all the paid plugins in here and do this totally all with Logic's plugins. I think it's going to be a really big challenge. This is going to be dependent on, Patreon supporters I get, and also, how many likes I get. If you guys support me, I'll do more stuff. If you guys are interested and you want this, I will work for you guys. Got to help me here, So please subscribe to my Patreon account. Help me continue on with this. And I give creds to Death Culture Metal Production tutorial on how to do this whole thing. So that's why I'm not going to get into on how to do this, because you can follow along with him and he explains it really well. And I'm just doing it a little bit differently. I'm using Logic. He's using Cubase. And I plan on changing this around so that way I can get it to where there's no plugins at all. And I think I could do it. I know I could take out different FabFilter Pro Qs and replace them with Logic. That should be a problem. So we'll see. There's still a couple things I need to do to fix. Like, I don't feel like that my plugin delay compensation settings are on par. You can see that, with all this stuff going on, it's really stressing out my computer. Processor's squeaking really bad, so I can't even really play it for you. Just bounce out the audio and just play it that way. Because what's happening right now is I have the screen recorder program going on. And so when I have the screen recorder program going on and doing this at the same time, it tweaks out. So, and it doesn't really, there's some parts in it where the processor just can't handle both things at the same time. And that's why I wanted to create this video and just show you. You could look, there's all this stuff going on. I mean, 60 different plugins going on here, and processor's cooking really well right now. And that brings me to the point. Yeah, I do tutorials here, but that doesn't mean I know everything. I like to study and practice what I do and go even deeper. Get yourself to the point where you are always pursuing get better and better. You will find that element of success. And I believe that wholeheartedly. And so that's why not only do I try to learn new things every day, also different things. And that's why you look at this and you say, oh my gosh, Death Culture Metal Production. That's so far from this type of style of music that I normally do. Yes, in a way, but his mixing techniques were so spot on. I was literally just thrown back. I was like, wow, this guy really knew his stuff. I'm doing this video because I want to give him creds. I just want to give him as much support as I can, because the difference between on how I normally would EQ drums is so night and day. So that being said, I am now moving on to re-challenge myself to take this whole template. And by the way, I'm going to upload this template with all stems, MIDI files, just like it is on my Patreon account. And I'll put the link in there so that way that you can have access to it if you want to do the same. And I'll also link in his Patreon account if you have Cubase and you want to follow his. So this is more about, if someone does a good job, I want to praise them for it. And this guy really did a good job. So my challenge here is I want to convert everything to Logic. And I'm not too sure I'm going to be able to do it because, you got these NLS. And this is very specific, high fidelity kind of stuff. And I just don't think I'm going to be able to do it. And also with the SSL channel strips. But I have some ideas. So, and if you like this, and if I start getting supporters with on my Patreon account, then I will definitely go forward with an all Logic version. But it just depends on the type of feedback I get. Like I said earlier, I'm not really going to go much into the detail of it because you can follow along over. This guy has the tutorials explaining how to do it. It's this one right here. And I'll go ahead and link in the tutorials. He actually has 2 tutorials. He has one that is free, and then he has the other one. It's $1. You just pay him $1. And he's hilarious. He's really funny too. And you'll get the other tutorial. Access to it. You just email him. So, really cool dude. That being said, I'm going to sign off. Stay groovy, my friends. Stay groovy. Hey guys, thanks for watching my video. If you enjoyed it, please give me a thumbs up and share it on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram. If you'd like to see more videos like this, just click on the big red subscribe button below. And when I upload a video, you'll be the first one to see it. Also, if you did like this video, maybe you will like some more of my other videos. You can watch those right now just by clicking on any of these links right here, which will open up a link and a new tab. Again, thanks for watching my video and supporting this channel. And remember, my friends, stay groovy.